Okay, good morning, guys. Thank y'all for joining us. This is Forex Sisters Innovative Instructions. Today, we're going to do a quick briefing on Module 4, Senior, and we're just going to go over a few things and then leave the floor open for any questions. Again, I'd like to let you guys know if you guys need any help, if there's anything that you guys need, contact us at forexsisters@yahoo.com, send us an email. Utilize the Messenger app. We can add you to those groups so that way you have access to the coaches and your classmates and continuous feed about what's going on in your module. Um, we're also on YouTube and IG, so let us know. There's plenty of places to get in contact with us and let us know if you guys need any help. This is your training, so try to maximize it as much as possible. Okay, let's see what we got here. Cycles. Okay, cycles, you guys, go back to time frame on the 4-hour time frame. This is where you are going to catch your cycles. Not every time. That's one thing I notice a lot of people um, are trying to grab the cycles every time, and you can try, but it's not going to be 100% every time, maybe not even 50% of the time. It's another confirmation um, to get that signal as close to your numbers as possible to narrow it down. But just like, your channels, it's not going to be as precise. It's not going to be like you're just not going to all the time 100% see, you might see channels more often than you would cycles. But practice, go back and practice that Fibonacci. It's another Fibonacci, and try to get those on there if you need to practice. I'm pretty sure we have some old cycles that we can send you out because I haven't seen any in a while. Um, it kind of goes with the whole strategy. Get your fib, your take profit, see if you can get your cycles and your channels before that, and it just narrows down your entire signal. So yes, the main factor on cycles is it's not going to be 100% every single chart, but try to come out and out of that fishbowl on the 4-hour cycle, 4-hour time frame, and try to see if you can see them. Use your fib and try to lay it out and see if you can get pretty precise. Um, let's see. Okay, fundamentals. It goes over a little bit of the fundamentals on there. Fundamentals is news, lots of news, events. Um, that's why, it's important to go over some of that vocabulary so you know what you're looking for as far as reading articles. And then when you get to the actual daily FX and you're counting those events, you can go in there and, study those articles and come to a clear confirmation on whether or not, that's a negative or a positive event. Um, but yes, events also aren't going to be as precise. As you continue your studies, you'll get more and more precise on your events. You'll get better. Your numbers will be tighter. And you're more than welcome to send us your numbers and we can compare. Um, Definitely try to keep track with them, weekly. Um, of course, there's not going to be much on Monday, Tuesday, but as it gets down to it, and also depending on what days you guys really like to trade on, um, make sure you check those events before you get into your orders. That's one of your major check boxes. Have your events current. Um, but yes, let us know if you need any help with those. Okay, human phenomenon. Human phenomenon. It's A lot of people think it's a lot of psychology, and it can be, but it's also personal. It's a lot of personal feelings. Um, Basically, you guys know yourselves the best. And just like with the rest of the strategy, you've got to take into consideration um, your trading appetite. Are you a huge risk taker? Are you cautious or careful? You got to set yourself a plan, set yourself a personal budget, and this can help that human phenomenon or personal reaction during these trades. If you have a fine line where, you know, this is how much I'm willing to lose and this is how much I'm okay with winning for my day, then leave it at that. It's safe to say, hey, that's my day, that's my work. We're good. And tomorrow's another day. I'm still in the game. Especially with losses. Very, very few people set minimum and they suffer huge losses. You know, Make sure you set personal losses and stop there. That way, you still have funds to be able to come back another day. And who knows, you could probably double your money and make it all back. Um, but that's basically on human phenomenon. It's just reactions to when you're actually in the orders and you're trading and the market is just fluctuating. I mean, you have all of your analyzed data. So over time, you have to come to a realization that you have the answers and, you have to trust it. It takes some people, it can take them a couple of weeks, some people months. There's tons of people out there, it's years before they actually feel comfortable and let the strategy and the signals take their place. Um, and then a lot of us are just safe, just going back with the whole, stop losses and take profits, and setting those budgets. Um, People still make money, it's a lot of personal feelings and how you can manipulate yourself to come down to a level that's, tolerable and profitable. Um, so yeah, take a look at that video and it goes over a lot of reactions, on the market and how somebody will react based on the market. And then it goes into details on how the market in itself reacts from the people, because that's how that Forex market moves and the traders move it. So it kind of goes back and forth. Um, yeah, give it a look. It touches really well. Okay. Now, just to touch up on some of these apps, of course, you've probably already been using some of these. Um, I know for the daily effects, that's for your events. We've been using Zoom. And now, you know, n- this goes back to with the whole idea of learning how to trade and be in Forex. There's multiple sources of income. And, oh, you can turn it into a business. So that's where the Zoom comes from. You're able to utilize this in your training and then you can continue on, further on in your education or in your own business and start training and teaching people, and other classmates on the Zoom. So you can carry these apps with you for a long time. Investing.com is kind of it's news events, what's going on in the market. That's really nice to have. It's the same as the heat wave and the Bloomberg. Good news, good news. Um, Call levels. Call levels, it's free and you get two set call levels. You can set them and then when you get close, I would set them, a couple pips before your actual signal. That way you get a heads up, we're getting close. It lets you do 2 free signals at a time. So that's really neat to have, and it'll alert you. I really like that one. The HD video recorder is the same. It's kind of the same as the Zoom. A lot of us use it on the phone. The video recorder, you can record, profit, your charts that you're doing. Comes in handy. So when you come back, you can utilize those recordings and study your own work. Um, let's see here. Mm, So that's about it as far as a brief touch on these. Um, I don't have much. Let me see if I have something else on my notes. I know I wanted to mention on the news, just, as you study the news and you can go into those articles. If you have any doubts on the numbers, go into those articles and you can search and, figure out what it is. If it comes down to the nitty gritty. Um, and if there's no article, I wanted to make this a point because events are huge, huge events. If there's no article when you want to research an event, um, you can just void it. A lot of people have just been voiding it or go with a face value, um, you know, close the higher end. Um, I know that was an issue. And let's see. And if it doesn't have any forecast, remember guys, if there's no forecast at all, the brokers didn't assess that forecast at all. It was too low or it was playing out too high, which is the case. Um, there will be an event that'll just be way out. Those are the type of events that you're going to see that happen right then, right there. Like something in a government, uh, some sort of presidential event, huge events. Those events that are international, they are just it affects one country and plenty of them. I know big ones in the USD can affect a lot of pairs. I think that was it on so far. Let me see. Yeah, those are my main ones that I wanted to get across this time. Okay. Well, if we have any questions, did you have anything today, Ashley?
Um, I guess just a few. They're not really questions though.
Yes.
But
Yes.
what helped me with the channels and the cycles was to label the peaks and the valleys, and that way I could be able to see them. That's what really helped me. I mean, it took me a minute to get that. I had to have you send me how it's supposed to go.
Yes.
Um, and for the events, it took me a while to get. I know when we started out, it was um, that sometimes they appear to be red, but that doesn't always mean that they're negative, which I know that's in the video. But it still took me a minute to understand because when I would go and Google them, it would say something like if the forecast is higher or lower, then it'll be a positive or a negative. But then
Yes.
if we look at the actual and the previous, so I guess that's where I was getting confused at because I would see what they would say it to be a forecast and they would count it as a negative or a
Yeah.
positive. And so that would throw off my count and my count would never be the same.
Yes. And it's so complicated. But I know, as far as like face value, go for the events that are like medium or high events. You know, if it's something that is a low event or doesn't have any, effects, um, I would just avoid that one and then continue on with your medium to high events. Um, those events are just they can be way out there, but when you take your time and you look at them and you watch the time, when you have the time to actually fully trade, um, they do have an impact on those charts. It's pretty interesting. Let me see.
Yeah, it really helped me when I started watching the events as they came out.
Yes,
That's what really helped me. It kind of put it more into perspective. And
yes,
then the human phenomenon and the natural phenomenon. I had to watch that video like so many times. It's just, I couldn't get it at first. And then each time I watched it, I took a little bit more notes and I kind of just broke it down into sections.
yes.
And so now I
Um,
feel like I got a better grip on it. I still look at it before I take a trade, though.
yes. I think, a lot, it's good to utilize the demo accounts to get like that whole foundation underneath you. That way you're aware of what to expect as far as orders and entering, the pips and the lots and everything. Because when you're actually in a live trade, you need to focus more on the candles and the event and, the indexes. Whereas, you need to be prepared and not still be fumbling how to enter those orders. You know, it's a lot of details. Um, you want to make sure your time is spent on those events. And that's where a lot of people get kind of a little frazzled, maybe a little nervous, and they can pull or jump in, too soon or too early. And it's all about knowing what you're actually doing and get a feel. Even if you're unsure, you yourself are unsure, but your analyzation tells you, it tells you. That's why they say, what is it that they keep saying? I hear that. I hear it a lot. Um, Trade what you see, not what you think.
Oh, yeah.
Because you have it right in front of you. You've got the whole analyzation, all the tech, all the events. It's doing it. This happened. That event came out. That market changed. Just, do it. Just like the indexes, you don't go into a buy when you have like a 50%, you know, bearish index. You know, you just gotta. It's giving you all the information you need. Let me see.
That kind of brings me to one question, but it's
Mhm,
kind of pertaining into the GBP USD trade. But
mhm.
I don't know if you want to put that on this one or not.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, let me go to my notes because I wrote it down. Okay, well, basically, when the index suggests a buy, like the USD was at a 21%, we know that that's a true trend. It was a negative 21%. The GBP was a positive 70%. Combined GBP USD was a positive 72. But the price was dropping below the 5 EMA,
Mhm.
and so I just put that was due to the micro and macro events that were going on in that time because I think I went and checked the events and it was over like 13, it was like 13 negative events. Um, so that caused the price to drop, and that's kind of what I assessed with that.
Yes.
and then I'd put my question was, should I sell and gain the smaller trades or buy as directed by the indexes? But I kind of just watched it because I didn't know. Like I always feel uncertain that way because I see it going down, but I see my indexes saying it's a
Yeah.
buy,
Yes.
and I kind of stayed out of it.
I kind of had that the other night. Let me show you.
And then during the Asian session, it completely went the other way. The USD was no longer negative 21%. It was down to 3. Now it was, I think, when I checked it a little bit earlier in the morning, it was a positive 4%, and I was like, "Oh, what should I have?" I didn't even check the GBP. I just checked the indexes, and I was
Yes.
like, I was kind of glad I stayed out of it, but I was like, I could have got the smaller little trade, but I
Yes. Like, what is it? I know that Asian session is usually a good retracement.
right,
Um, so practically everybody wants to pull in reverse for a while.
right,
Um, and then like right here, I was pending this buy, this whole buy. My thing too is at the same time, that uncertainty, we always enter the trade at the 382. So, you wait, a lot of us wait 4 or 5 candle confirmation or this
right.
786 confirmation, and then you can continue and wait to hit that 382. Um, and I entered and then I hit my resistance and I got out. Usually I'd get out a little bit sooner, but I
Mhm,
held on when in fact it kept going. So if I would have gone in when they were setting that price, I could have gotten over 1200 pips. But
wow.
just by following my signal, I was able to accumulate about 380 pips.
Mhm,
Um, and that's going along with that whole human phenomenon. You know, you're playing it safe. You still made profit, and you're still learning. You're testing the waters and everything. And so a lot of people are like, keep it safe. If you're not that risk taker, then go for what you already know. We have the signal. We have what we need. So once we hit it, we take it and we get out. Um, that's I know Anel says that a lot. Get in, get out.
mhm.
Um, and it makes sense. And so here we are. And technically, I can still continue this buy. This buy can continue to come back because it broke out of my channel, and that's a whole new trend. So I thought it,
Yeah,
I kind of thought it wouldn't, and I thought it'd come back, but it broke through my channel. So that was my confirmation that it was gonna buy. Once it passed my channel and then hit my entry, boom, I got in.
mhm,
So that's I didn't get to cycles, but the cycle could have been right between that last channel and this entry. That would have been the 382 on the cycle fib, if that makes sense.
okay.
um, so yeah, you can go by the indexes. I think at that time though, my that GBP index, it was still bear, but it went from like 79 bear all the way to 20 or 15 bear. So when it's coming back up, you
Mhm,
can see that trend change. And then sometimes when they do the sessions change, those things can totally flip, and you can see the retracements.
Right.
Um, we've tried doing Asian session, and it's just all about that retracement. What,
Mhm.
how much, what can we land as far as, take profit. Um, I've tried charting a retracement, and it's just, man, that Asian session is just something else.
Mhm.
Let me see.
And then it has those moments where it really moves.
Yes. Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna see. We were gonna do. Yeah, that's what we have for this week. We're gonna try to do that Asian session. Um, but it's just kind of iffy, It's iffy. They all play a part on each other. They all
Mhm.
fluctuate. Okay, let me see. I think that was it. It's mostly all about that event and how to get as much detail as you can. Um, yeah, I think that's all I had. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for that feedback, Ashley.
Mm.
Again, guys, I wanted to let y'all know if you guys have any questions, let us know. We can send you the invite link. Email us at forexsisters.com, and we can send you those invite links if you are already studying with us. That way you can attend these Q&A. The Q&As are huge. Um, you can come in, listen to the briefing, and then ask, whatever content questions you have. We're available to you. I think we're trying to spread it across the board now. There's a few people that needed evening sessions, so we should have at least 2 evening sessions a week now, and then 2 in the morning. So that way you guys can hop on. Schedules are tight. Um, so yeah, definitely join us. Let us know what you need help with. We can collaborate, get on some charts, and see what we need to figure out. This is a community. This is a huge teaching and training for everybody. Um, okay, well, with that, I think that's about it. I thank you guys for joining me, and we'll see you on the next video. Have a great day.